Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Mason again from Jackson Middle School, and I am getting ready to record your art lesson for the week, and it's printmaking activity. This is lesson 6, but this is actually the 7th week that we've had this rotation. Can you believe it? It's going fast, slow, kind of weird. I want to go over the components of the week. First of all, printmaking. I'm going to give you several different options with printmaking. I want you to experiment and have fun. You're going to need, of course, some paper, scissors, some styrofoam, maybe plates from meat trays. You also, if you want, can have a flat piece of plastic, like a sheet of plastic. We can do another type of print from that. Not necessary though. You will need a brush or something to paint with, some paint or something liquidy that would work as paint. You need an ink pen or a doll pencil, some paper towels, or some scrap newspapers to use as a mat. And I think I spelled mat wrong. Also, the concepts we're looking at, just different forms of printmaking. Monoprint, we're looking at line and symmetry. And I don't have the Join My Quiz code for you yet. I will send that to you later. And I have a little picture of Baby Yoda, because remember, every time you complete any art lesson or activity I assigned, whether it be this or the quizzes, I put your name in a raffle for Baby Yoda. So we only have a little bit longer to do that. Baby Yoda is right here with me, but he's going to stay away because I don't want him to get messy with the paint. So I'm going to go ahead and put my camera down so you can see where I'm going to work. And I'm going to start off with something because I'm afraid it's going to dry before I get a chance to do other stuff. This is called a monoprint. And what I've done is taken a flat piece of plastic that I have that's scrap, and I have squirted some paint on it. Now, if you don't have paint, you can use, if your mom has an old color of like foundation makeup that she hates, or any type of liquid makeup that has color to it, you can use that for paint. I hate this BB cream, so I could have used that. Also, I stole my daughter's bronzer, which makes her skin look like she's got a tan when she really doesn't. And you could use that if you want to. So anything that has color to it, okay? You would have to ask your sisters or your moms or whatever. But I've already kind of squirted some color down here. And a monoprint means one. Mono means one. And I'll just take some sort of piece of paper. I'm going to lay it down, and it's going to be fluid. This one will not have symmetry. This one's just for fun. It's super, super easy. And make sure that you have a surface that is protected because you don't want to make a mess. I came in here because I didn't want to work on my dining room table because I had a lot more things to lay out. Now, when you pull it and make sure it doesn't bump anything. All right, and then you just have a print. It's a little bit like marbling in a way, because marbling is a monoprint too, and you pull it. So that's one type, and then this will just wash off. Or you could always pull another print. I'll do another print real quick just for fun on a different type of paper. I've got scrap paper I've been using for all sorts of stuff. So you can do another print until it's gone. You can make cards. You can also draw into that if you want to, but you don't have to. Now you'll notice that the next print won't be quite as beautiful because it's using up the paint. So you have to put those aside and let them dry, excuse me. So that's one type of print, which is called a monoprint. Now, you may go, I don't know what I want to do it on. I don't have very much stuff. So here's styrofoam from meat trays, okay? You can use that. You can also use styrofoam from paper plates. That's what I'm going to be using. And in a little bit, if I have time, I'm going to try to keep it short. You can also print using fake leaves or real leaves, as long as they're not dry and old. So here's where I cut from a styrofoam tray. The first thing I did was I drew it on a piece of paper, but I folded the paper so I would have symmetry. And I cut it folded, and then I opened it up, and then I traced it onto my styrofoam, and then I cut out my styrofoam. So that's what I did to get my first shape to be ready to print. But symmetry means that both sides are the same. They can be mirror symmetry or not mirror symmetry, but symmetry means there's like a point, a line down the middle where you have the same amount on this side as on this side. So mine right here would be mirror image because they're exactly the same, but they don't have to be exactly the same. Now I went ahead and took my paper plate that I had of styrofoam, and I actually did a design. Now I folded and made myself a heart, and then I cut it out. So, and then I took my ink pen, which is dull, or a dull pencil. You want a really dull pencil right here. And I made my design. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down some more scrap paper. And this you can print multiple times. So this is not a mono print. You can make all sorts of prints from this because you have something that is a solid piece of material. So you could do it out of styrofoam, you could do it out of wood, which is really harder. You could do it out of linoleum. There's just all sorts of things. You could do it out of cardboard, but styrofoam is easiest. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently brush across my color, and you'll need either a brush or a sponge, or you could actually even use a cotton ball if you get it wet first and squeeze it out and then apply the paint. Otherwise it soaks up all the paint. So I'm going to try to get a nice even coat. And I have paper under it that's scrap paper so that it won't make a huge mess. And I'll probably get a little bit on my fingers, and that's okay. Won't matter. All right, get a little bit on my fingers. Just make sure that you get enough on there. Don't push hard. I'm just kind of pulling it across. And I need to get a little bit more down there. Now, I've got it basically ready to paint. So I need to remove my messy paper right here. I'm going to put that in a trash can, which you should have someplace. And I can see right now that I already got some paint on that sheet of paper by accident. So I'm not going to print that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to lay that down, and I'm going to press and pull a print. Now I just press smoothly. You can take anything and just rub across it. You can use your hand, you can use the back of a big spoon and just rub across it so you make sure you get all the areas. Now I have no idea how good it's going to look because this is a first time for me today. So do this one. So now I'm going to pull that off carefully and see how I printed. There's my print, okay? I have symmetry on both sides. I would like to have a little more ink or paint right there, but I could print another one and another one, another one, another one, another one. Now I want to show you something else that you can also do, and I'll use my same paint. Let's say I want to do it more like a stamp, okay? Actually, I won't do it with paint. I will do it with marker. You're like, marker? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to use marker because you don't have paint. Now this is a washable marker, and I've got, like I said, plenty of scrap paper. And I'm just going to go ahead and just put this marker all over my styrofoam. And I drew a little design on it. You can see my little design. It's really absolutely nothing. I just drew something to draw it. So this is still going to be a print too. This will be something that you can print multiple times. You could like do hearts, you could do flowers, but you can make cards. Still keep sending stuff to people that are your relatives that are like, not able to get out because of the quarantine, and maybe they're older and don't have anyone that can come visit them because they're not allowed. Now, what you're going to do, and I'm going to show you, is you're going to slightly moisten the paper you want to print. So I took a cotton ball and I got it wet and I squeezed it out mostly, and I'm just going to go ahead and wet just lightly, just and really gentle, the area I want to print. And then I'm going to take this cardboard, or this styrofoam, excuse me, and I'm going to put it down where I wet the paper. This is another idea. You do not have to do all of these. You can just choose one, whichever you have materials for, and whichever is simple. Now I'm going to press that down, and then I'm going to pull it off, and let's see if it printed. Voila! It did. There's a little baby print. You can do those all over the place. And I just used a marker, watercolor marker, and make sure you wet the paper just a little bit before you do it. Otherwise, it's not going to absorb down in. So those are all my ideas for you for printing this week. You can make a card. Like I said, you can make many cards and just print them. So just have some fun with it, and then make sure that you show me your pictures of it when you're done. Please put your first and last name. Believe it or not, I still have people not putting their first and last name, and I have a lot of kids with the same exact name. I have more than one Connor. I have more than one Zach. I have what was the one girl's name? I forget. It wasn't Lydia, I forget. But anyways, I had several girls that had the same name. So please make sure you put your first and last name. I'm loving seeing what you're doing. I love the marbling last week. Some of you just had awesome stuff. And I hope you have a good week, and I will see you next week. Thank you.